My friends, we are truly living in some wacky times. We are living in a world where, against all odds, the unlikely candidate managed to win out against what everybody thought was to be the unstoppable choice. Yes, you all know what I'm talking about. Sonic got a higher IGN score than Mario. For anyone who's out of the loop, Sonic X Shadow Generations got a 9 out of 10 from IGN when they reviewed the game a few weeks ago. Mario and Luigi Brothership, on the other hand, somehow only got a 5 out of 10 by IGN. Now, for anyone who isn't super aware about IGN, this is basically blasphemy. IGN has usually been one of the biggest Sonic haters. That being said, in recent years, it seems like they've started getting along a lot better with the Blue Rat, I've noticed. They were the first ones who got that early Frontiers footage. They loved Sonic X Shadow Why did they get the Frontiers footage? Actually, why would Sonic Team pick IGN? Why? What? And now that I'm thinking about this out loud, that doesn't make any sense. IGN hated Sonic, so I don't know why Sonic Team chose to have IGN do the world premiere of Sonic Frontiers footage, which, for the record, that footage was terrible. That was some of the worst gameplay footage I've ever seen in my life. But the long story short, IGN hates Sonic, and they've usually been pretty generous to Mario. I mean, they've had some reviews where they dunked on Mario, but generally they're pretty positive about him. Until now, 5 out of 10 for Brothership, which is crazy. Everybody else seems to really like the game. The only two major complaints about Brothership I've seen, I haven't played it personally, but from what I've seen, is performance issues, which IGN definitely agreed on, and the way Luigi picks his commands in battle, because it's always been like he's mapped to the B button, you pick his stuff with the B button, but now it's you pick it with the A button, but then his inputs are still on the B button, so it's a little backwards for some people, which I agree it's a weird decision. Hopefully they patch that out. But IGN gave them a 5 out of 10. That seems a little harsh, because again, everybody disagrees. Everybody's really enjoying the game. But let's not pretend this isn't the first time IGN gave a very questionable review. They've done it for both Sonic and other Nintendo franchises. I mean, we all remember 7 out of 10, too much water. And for anyone who doesn't know what I'm referencing, when the Pokemon Generation 3 remakes came out, Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, IGN gave the games a 7 out of 10. And one of the major negatives of the game listed was too much water. And that has become a massive meme in both the Pokemon and gaming community. I'm pretty sure that meme was even referenced inside of a Pokemon game before. That's how big it was. But it's not just, Pokemon. They've given Sonic some pretty questionable reviews back in the day. They absolutely ripped Sonic Unleashed a New One, which was a completely unfair and biased review, which most people would agree was way too harsh and not fair to the game whatsoever. At this point, I just question why we even still, why anybody still pays attention to IGN. It's very clear that IGN are not gamers. They are journalists and nothing more. I'm pretty sure half these people don't even know how to play a video game. I mean, if we want to talk about really egregious IGN reviews, I don't know if any of you guys remember the Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition review. They didn't even play the game. And you want to know how I know they didn't play the game? Because of two characters, Ryan and Dunban, I believe. Yeah, Ryan and Dunban. They didn't pronounce either of those names correctly. They said Rain, and I think they said Duncan, if I remember correctly. I would be almost willing to give you Duncan, because, you just slip of the tongue, but Rain? He's what... You hear the way his name is said in the first couple minutes of the game, the first 10 minutes. Once you get past the tutorial, he's one of the first names you hear. Actually, Dunban is one of the first names you hear. So actually, no, I won't give you Duncan. It's very clear to me that whoever was actually reading and writing that script didn't even play the game. Because if you can't get the basics of pronouncing a character's name right in a game that constantly says the character's names, that proves you didn't actually even play the game. If it was a text-based game, I don't know, an old school Final Fantasy or something with no voice actors, sure, pronounce it however you want, but this is a very clear only one way to pronounce it, so it's very clear to me that IGN does not put that much time into the games they review. So what I can only assume happened was this. Sonic X Shadow Generations has a very strong start. You watch the opening cutscene and then you are thrown immediately into Space Colony Arc, which is a fantastic level. I don't know how the new Mario and Luigi opens up, so this is purely speculation at this point. But I'm going to assume, and again, please correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, that it has probably like a little bit of a slower start compared to Sonic X Shadow Generations. And I'm going to assume that whoever was actually doing the review didn't really care. They probably played the first like 20 minutes, got bored, and then said 5 out of 10. And then they just cherry picked issues from that 20 minutes, like the performance issues. That's literally the only thing that makes sense to me. Because if it was actually a gamer who did this review, I genuinely think it would not be a 5 out of 10. I think Sonic X Shadow Generations would probably still be a 9 out of 10. That game was great. Everybody loved it. But everybody also loves Mario and Luigi. So now it's just come clear, I think, to everybody that IGN, they barely play the games that they review. And I think we need to actually just stop. We need to just stop with IGN. Like, if you're active, like, I don't think anybody takes IGN reviews seriously. I think the only reason the Mario Luigi review got any traction is because it was making people angry. But I don't think anybody looks at the IGN review and says, huh, Mario and Luigi Brothership got a bad score? Well, I guess I won't buy it then. Thankfully, I don't think many people do that. But if for anybody who does, just ignore IGN. Do not take anything IGN says with a grain of salt. Or do take it with a grain of salt, excuse me. If you genuinely want to know if a game is good and worth buying, there are so many like small independent YouTubers who will give unbiased reviews. I'm not one of them. I give super biased reviews. Sonic X Shadow Generations, Game of the Year, baby, let's go! But that's all for now. I have been your favorite IGN hating fruit, Kiwi. And until next time, friends.